Hello and welcome to the 37th episode of the Cashmere Goat Yarn podcast, coming at you from beautiful, very cold Camden, Maine this morning. I'm Iris. I'm usually joined by Kristin, who is the shop owner here at Cashmere Goat, but today we're going to do a little something different. So we're going to do a shop tour, but before we get into that, tell you that I'm showing you a little part of the store you haven't seen before already, which is we're right here by the point of sale, which is where people come to make their purchases. And this cute little window frame was initially sort of a COVID precaution thing that we put up, but we've recently been talking about, is it time to take it down? But it's also kind of charming. It sort of defines the space, and behind me I've got the Camp Stitchwood Pearl Scouts merit badges, which are super cool. I've got some magazines as well. So that kind of worked out because it's a super bright and sunny day today, and I mentioned that it is cold. It is really cold. It's like this morning when I took the dog out for a short hike, it was below zero. It was like -7 degrees. So we just did a real quick little walk. We didn't want to hurt her paws, but wow, very cold snap. So I'm layered up today wearing my Carp-beth. This was Carp-beth is by Kate Davies. Last January, February knit along, we did the Carbeth quartet. So there's a Carbeth, which is a pullover. There's a Carbeth cardigan, a Carp-beth with this cool twisted rib situation, and then a Carbeth Swan Dance, which is a little more tunic length with some really pretty lace detailing. And just so you can see, if you haven't seen it, it's this shaping up here at the top. And it's like a nice turtleneck, and with it being so cold, it seemed like a good day to layer up in warm woolies. This is Eco Tweed Chunky by LRA, and you can see that it's got just some really cool little flecks of lighter teal, of kind of an orangey, but I love this sweater. I love the fit, and just off the needles this week and just blocked is my Grid Gambit cowl. This is by Samantha Guerin, and I knit this using 2 skeins of Plush DK by On the Round, one of our main indie dyers. 2 real shop favorites in terms of colors. So that beautiful sort of toasty color is called Latte, and the variegated color, which I'm not sure you can really pick up all the subtleties, maybe you can, is called Season of the Witch. And I think Season of the Witch just sort of, it was a new color this fall. It blew our minds. We have it on the different yarn bases, Plush DK, Plush Bulky, Nimble Sock, and Plush Single. And we talk about it as a colorway that plays well with others because there's teal, there's purple, there's warm neutrals, there's brown, there's gold. It's just so juicy, and I love it in this cowl. This cowl is a slip stitch pattern. It was really enjoyable to knit, relaxing, kind of moved along because DK, and then, you know, nice detailing like that I-cord edging. So anyway, great to have something finished. I have a couple works in progress. And also I gave in to the Noro bucket bag. This is a new one by DelaQ. And if you've watched this podcast before, you know that some of us who work here have a love of bags. We'll just leave it at that. Obsession maybe, but it's a really great bag for your bigger projects. And the fun part is these little snaps open up so that then it's super easy to access what's inside. There's a couple of these external pockets as well as a couple of internal pockets, you know, pens, holding whatever. So I have 2 things in here. And yeah, so I have my little bitty project, which is my Musselburgh hat. This is Isolde Teague's pattern, which there's like 30,000 of them on Ravelry, so I'm sure you've heard of it. probably seen it. So it's not making like super speedy progress, but it's such a good project for grab and go and not have to pay attention, and it's not too big, so it just fits in this little bitty bag. And this was a Miss Babs yarn that I got at Rhinebeck a couple years ago. It was a gift from Alice Dunn Smith of Birch Tree Knits, who's a friend of the shop and a designer. This is a Polworth silk blend, and kind of like is going to go great with what I'm wearing around my neck. But it's called Rock Sparrow, and there's just this nice little rosy undertones, but beautiful woodsy vibe here. So that's coming right along. And then, because we are underway with our January, February knit along for 2025, I am working on a Dog Star. Dog Star is the pattern that we're knitting this January and February, and it is not too late to join us if you want to hop in. And this is a beautiful colorwork sweater by the folks at Tin Can Knits, and it comes in 29 sizes, from wee little babies all the way on up to larger size adults, and has some great colorwork details at the cuffs, which you can totally opt out of if you want. Beautiful yoke colorwork as well, options. Some people are doing multiple colors, which is super phenomenal, just to see people play with it. And then there's an option to do some more colorwork at the bottom of the sweater too. So folks are making choices. There's lots of room for customization. And I'm using Kathmandu DK by Queensland, which I'm really enjoying. It is just super soft blend of wool and silk and cashmere, a little cashmere. So that's what's going on here, and I love it. And it's actually, there's a lot of stockinette. That's a little boring. What we've learned about knit-alongs though is you have to strike the right balance between interesting and boring, because if the pattern is too interesting, then it impedes one of the goals of a knit-along, is the social component. People gathering, we gather online weekly, it's optional. We also gather in the store, again, optional, and it's making community, it's hanging out and knitting. So you it's hard if you have to really pay attention to a pattern that has a lot of detail or a lot of thinking or a lot of counting. So yes, there are definitely parts where you're paying attention, but there's also some breaks, a lot of breaks with the stockinette. So it's fun to have company when we're knitting these long expanses of stockinette. So a lot of folks are on their sleeves, folks are doing provisional cast-ons, folks are in the color work. There's a lot of just different places we're at, which is also really kind of fun, because then we can see, oh, and one of our local goats, Molly, she just finished her first, because she's knitting a wee baby Dog Star for her little baby daughter, and she started on her second one already. So it's so fun to see, and so fun to see lots of folks learning colorwork for the first time. We do think of this as a beginner-friendly colorwork pattern. There are not many longer expanses where you would have to catch a float, which is sometimes a little complicated for folks new to color work. And you can just do it in a single color. You can not do any of the cuffs or waist ribbing color work. You can stick to the yoke. So a lot of ways to make it fun. And we have almost 200 people signed up for the knit along, which is super fun. From all over the place, from nearby and far away. We have our local and remote goats participating. Yeah, so it's going along really, really well. And we've got a little closed Facebook group where folks are sharing some photos. And our knit-alongs are free to participate in. You get a little discount on yarn for the project. And we have some folks who are knitting from stash yarn too, which is okay too. And then you get little weekly emails with tips, and we do YouTube tutorials that hopefully will help folks along the way as well. So it's a big, good time and a really nice time in midwinter to focus on a bigger project. So we were closed for 3 days last week for organizing and cleaning. The store gets just, I mean, there's so much fiber everywhere. The dust becomes insane. And although we keep up with cleaning, what we do when we do our big close down is we actually pull everything away from the wall and vacuum behind. We dust all like the upper windowsills. because there's just, in a yarn store, there's going to be fiber everywhere. So that was great. Dusting all the surfaces, moving all the yarn out of the cubbies, dusting in the cubbies too. So that was great, and we got a lot done, and we pulled some stuff out that we put in the sale. A lot of you have taken advantage of that already. We had some stuff that's really awesome prices, and actually in part of the shop tour, I want to show you something that's new over there, because we have gotten a couple of new things for the shop that kind of like helping to elevate and just display things a little differently. Some things Kristin has been thinking about for a long time, wanting a solution for. So it's always exciting to sort of change things up a little bit. So I'll show you that in our shop tour portion of this. But yeah, let's get into it. And I'm going to kind of take you around and show you a few things. Hello. So the first thing I wanted to show you is this really cool new way to keep our needles organized. So it's this awesome, I think it was formerly lived in a bank or something, and the drawers just sort of come out and slide in, and it's such a nice way to keep the needles organized by brand and length, but not have them sort of just harder to dig through. We had some smaller bins and they were fine, but this is such a tidy solution and we're pretty excited about it. We still have our straight needles up here, our interchangeables, the tips, and then double points back here. I'm standing in front of our notions wall, which is so much fun. I am right in front of the Fox and Pine stitch stoppers, which everybody always loves. We've got some really fun ones. We've got the lobsters, because you know, Maine had to do lobsters. I personally, get back there. I love the good old mushrooms. I bought these for a friend. They're just such cute little gifts and super sweet. The other one that is pretty great are the little hens. And then we also have our highlighter tapes up here. Point protectors, all sorts of darning needles, locking stitch markers. We have gauge tools down here, and just all the things. I love the Lantern Moon fix-it hook are super great because they're small. So that's kind of Notions wall, and this is right across from the point of sale, where I was sitting just a moment ago. Okay, so when you first walk in the door, which is just behind where the camera is, you kind of get this beautiful view of a lot of our Delaque stuff. Now I'm getting a little glare from the sun right now, but we've got the train cases, we've got the needle cases, and then of course we have the totes, the backpacks, the midi backpacks, and you can't really see it, I don't think, but the satchels are here. We also have still a few more of everybody's new favorite, the mini messenger bag, which has been super popular. So we don't have room for like all of the Delaque stuff to be right here when you walk in, but we wanted you to sort of, as you walk in the door, it's so bright, so colorful, super fun to see. So nice to see all that in one place. So I'm standing right here in our little book corner. This door behind me goes into storage, but we have beautiful selection of knitting books on my left and a gorgeous selection of crochet books here on my right. And when people come in, it's just so fun to see them browsing books. You know, nice to find so many of the craft books that we love all in one place, right? I wanted to pause here because I'm right by the Cloud Tweed, and Cloud Tweed by Lang is having a moment right now. This is a bulky weight, but super light because chainette. It's a yarn blend of wool, poly, and baby alpaca. And it's having a moment because of a sweater called the Trout Sweater. So you can see these fun little flecks, and the colorway of the Trout Sweater, if you go on Ravelry, is like out of stock everywhere because everybody wants this yarn, but come in such amazing colors, right? And just so soft, super squishy, and very like, you know, it's a bulky, but there's this lightness to it. It doesn't feel heavy. It's like a cloud, right? Let me see if I can grab one more of these cool purples. Yes, right. So fun. So this has just been flying out of the shop. We have been reordering a lot of this lately. I'm standing in front of one of our newest yarns to the shop, locally dyed by On the Round, which I previously mentioned dyes this plush DK. This is her cottage DK. So this is a non-superwash 100% merino wool, and it just comes in such dreamy colors. We have a knitter who is, oh, maybe there's only one skein left. A knitter who is making a her dog star out of, out of this gorgeous color as the main color, and it is stunning. This pretty eggplant. So a cottage DK is a beautiful option and locally dyed, and we're gonna just take a little walk around some of our other locally dyed yarns. We are checking out our main indie dyer section. This is beautiful On the Round that we're seeing, and now we're transitioning to look at Seven Sisters Arts. That's her single ply fingering weight, and rounding the corner we're seeing Zodiac, which is a gorgeous worsted weight yarn. So one thing that we're super excited about is we just got this awesome new shelving unit that actually collapses really, really nicely. So it can like pretty much collapse flat, just like get really narrow on that side. But this is for our sale section. And right now we don't have a ton on sale because you all just went like super wild with our cleaning sale. But yeah, Kristin has been thinking about something like this for some time and found this awesome option. I believe it's made here in Maine. And then our sale section also continues right here. Got still some Competo left by Noro. So yeah, we really love how this looks. You can see if I'm backing up here, the Delaque sort of corner comes around here. Over here, that's our point of sale, but from the back side. So this is nice because it leaves a lot of space between sale, and then these two tables are where we do our meetups when we have knit-alongs, when we have knitting groups, etc. So there's just a nice amount of walking space now in between this little area. We call this section here Sock Island because for the most part, this is all sock yarn. Like over here, that's Jody Long Chow. But Sock Island, so we have our locally dyed sock yarns here in this first little bay. There's some great On the Round in there, looking awesome, and some beautiful Seven Sisters up here as well. On the Round does mini skeins, which is super awesome. This is the Roy G. Biv, and I think this is the Woodland. And this is the Spring Showers mini set. And then our sock section, it continues onto the side. We are super excited because we are just now stocking the vintage sock by Barocco, which is a really nice price point for a sock yarn. It has wool and acrylic in it, and so it's nice and strong, and nice options for solid colors, like if you were thinking of doing a color work sock. And then wrapping around to this side, more sock yarn, and some reinforcement wool. Love the Perth. The colors of Perth are super pretty. So yeah, that's Sock Island. And this shawl is really cool because it was knit using this Move 6-ply, which is a DK sock yarn that has some really nice color changing, and it's always just fun to see how yarn knits up in a cute little shawl. That's the parallelogram shawl, I believe. A couple podcasts ago, Kristin and I were podcasting from right here in front of this cool little display shelf. And so you couldn't quite see what was behind us, but we've got a gorgeous selection of the Pacific Knit doodle decks. Just got some new ones in too. This travel doodle deck was a new one, I think. And then We've got some of the favorites like the farm, the holiday, and there's like even more over here, which is awesome. And then this is also our cocoa knits world. So we love cocoa knits, and we have the project portfolio now. Sweater care pop-up dryers up on the top. Oh, there it is. And then all the super awesome stitch markers and stitch stoppers and all the things that folks love. Ooh, this is a new one, which maybe you saw a little reel that I made, but it's like the snips, the yarn snips. Let me see if I can take it out with one hand. But it's like super sharp and kind of like shears, you know, shearing sheep shears. Very satisfying to snip. So that's a new product. And I will leave you with this, which is, this is the sign that goes out front of the store, just sort of like right out here when we're open. And Goat Staffer Rachel has a real way with the puns. So when knit happens, we have pearls of wisdom to help ease your tension. And then she's promoting our Knitting SOS, which is Thursdays, if folks need a little extra help. So that's what it looks like. So thank you so much for joining me on this special episode of the podcast at Cashmere Goat, a little shop tour, little shop update, and giving you folks, especially you remote goats, a little window inside of what goes on here in the store. If you like this video, please give us a like, leave us a comment, subscribe. All of those things help the channel get some visibility. And we really hope that you come and visit us here in the shop in Camden, Maine, which is a gorgeous little, beautiful, charming little seaside town. And also we are open 24/7 online. The whole store is online. Thanks so much for watching. Happy making. Bye.